All right, perfect. So I do have a different kind of strategy. Of course, when it does come to trading, there is no perfect strategy, but this is the one I found out that works for me as someone who has struggled and year in, year out, but I've been trading for about 5 years now. I like to call it the lazy man strategy. Okay, so definitely not trading every day. But if you do go ahead and look at my statistics here, you might be wondering, how am I able to go ahead and turn a profit when my average winners are half of my losers? Well, because I like to keep my accuracy super high. To me, accuracy is the number one thing when it does come to trading, which currently I'm sitting around just under 74% on 42 trades. So 42 trades over 6 months is not a lot. That's also because I do go ahead and take lots of breaks in between. I found it that for the average person, especially in my case, it is very, very tough to keep trading day in, day out. And the more am the more I'm accustomed to waking up, opening charts, the more I'm accustomed to wanting to trade and needing to trade, and the more mistakes happen, especially after I have really big or consistent weeks. Let me go ahead and show you what that might look like here. So let's go to the calendar real quick. See, this is what I mean. So I started February, and of course, since it is a small account, I am under the PDT rule. But there are gaps. So in April, I had 2 weeks off that I took off. May, I had one trade in this week and I took another week off. June, I took 2 more weeks off. And sometimes I might only trade once a week. If you take a closer look, it really tends to follow my red trades and red weeks and big red days really tend to follow when I'm doing my greatest. If we take February, for example, so let's look at March. February went ahead and made 945, which was about 2% at this time. But then I lost $24, which on a small account under $600, yeah, that's not great. That's definitely not what you want to see. And my red days continue to show each other. But what I'm very proud of is that I am always very consistent when I do have green. Over trading 28, 27, or $25.77 here, $28 here. So the trades definitely do follow each other, but I found that the more time off I can take and give myself, the more consistent I can be, which is why August I've started off so strong, right? And we can take a closer little breakdown here. These are the P&Ls for each day. So August, I haven't had a single red day as of yet. The only one, my last red day was July 24th, but of course I'm not trading every day. And then you can see that I do have a lot bigger. When I do have red days, they do tend to be bigger or red trades. Apples, $35, $25, $46. That was a bad one. I don't know what I got myself into there. And another $25. So when I do see profit, I do tend to take it quicker versus when I do see a loss, which is something I do need to work on, of course. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is all verified. Well, since the beginning, my cumulative P&L is showing about $536, which I'm not exactly sure why it shows that. That is not correct. What it really should be showing, let's go to reports here. Here we go. So cumulative is $92.34. And it's usually how I track my trades. I do import them onto TraderView so I can get an overall view of what is going on in my trading. So what you do here, I do use TD Ameritrade. You just go into your trades, and these are all the imports I've had from here, starting on the 6th of February all the way to August. And then what I do go ahead and do is I do import them. What that looks like is I do go ahead and click on this right here. Let me see if I can pull this up. I import them to an ESV file. which would look something like this. An ESV file, just to make it a little bit easier to view for everybody. See, so it makes it a little bit better. Mostly I'm trading ETFs, SQQ, and TQs, which are based off the NASDAQ. They are pretty volatile, but every once in a while I'll be trading some smaller cap stocks are moving quickly, like CVNA, even a couple times with Tesla when the opportunity presents itself, and then even Yell, which was a very much so a penny stock that went up a couple 100%, saw the opportunity for it, so I went ahead and took some nice profit on it. Perfect. So one of those ways I do track it, like I mentioned, is this overall spreadsheet here that I like to use to make sure I'm on track. So weekly compound, small account, started at 588, like I mentioned, on 2/6/23. So based off of the end of last week, I'm currently at a gain of 17% with an average weekly of 0.68%. Now you will see gaps here, and I do have some pretty big weeks followed by some pretty bad weeks and some losing weeks. So it really does show you the mental state and the lows and highs of trading and what that really can do to you, because it's never consistently up and down. You're never going to be able to be consistent with it all the time. You're going to have some bad times and some good times, and that's just part of the process, in all honesty. It's about how you manage your risk and being able to learn. But I have been very consistent since mid-July, as we did show earlier. And before that, I went ahead and had to take a couple weeks off a break. Had a vacation there. So why do I think this method works a lot better? I'm a firm believer, after my experience in helping others, is that over trading is a very serious thing. And not learning when to take your profits and manage risk. The more you trade, the more your risk goes out the window. And it also holds true with the more likely you are to go ahead and start revenge trading. Now, I do have a lot of trouble with revenge trading. If I go ahead and lose a couple $1,000, a couple $100, a couple $1,000 on one of my other accounts, I'm trying to get that back as soon as I can. I don't jump into something even though I know I shouldn't. But starting with a small account really teaches patience and discipline, because you only have 3-day trades, right? So what I've had to find myself doing is being strategic and only trading the best setups. Now, that especially held true over the last few months, which is why my drawdowns are a lot less and my losses have not been significant since May. I've been trying to keep it to where I have less than 3% loss in a week. That's it. I'm done. And I've only had that once since May, which I would say is pretty good for my end, instead of having really big weeks and really bad weeks at the same time. So the reason I want to show everybody this is to show that when you don't and you shouldn't watch the market and be eager to trade every day. There are so many opportunities in a year, and really think about the long-term goal, not the short term. Yes, it would be great if I was making 2 to 3% every week, but honestly, is this not realistic? If I was to take these weeks out, I would probably be over 1%, if not close to it a week, which in retrospect is really good. Thinking the market's is only up around 14% right now, year to date, if you go off the S&P 500. But at the same time, I would have a lot more red days. So it's really being able to know yourself and what you're best at. Now, with turning this into $100,000, it is going to take a few years, which is why I've mapped it out here. So at the top, this is based off of 1.25%. I do expect to be at that mark by the end of the year. If not, then it's going to take a little bit longer. That will take approximately 4 or 5 years for me to hit that mark at 1.25. Okay, so it's never a short process. And being good at day trading and investing in general is never a quick process. It took me 3 years to have a profitable quarter, let alone a profitable year. And I've kind of just learned and snowballed that into having a profitable year. Now, if you're day trading, you're making, let's say this is only doubles and I don't hit that 1.25% like I want, I'll probably end, if you're looking at I'm at 688 right now. Let's say the next few months, I go ahead and get 15%. That's $791, just under 800. Hell, I'm still up 30% in a market like this, just trading my own. Now, I would say I'm still beating the market in every case. And that's really the goal, is being able to outperform when you otherwise wouldn't, to create additional cash flow without it absorbing your mind and taking a big toll and giving you extra stress that you don't need. Because that's what really leads to the downfalls of most traders in these cases and situations. Right? So what I would go ahead and encourage is everybody to take a firm look at what really makes you tick. Start with a small account and be as disciplined as possible. It does bring great change and teaches you a lot of patience. And if you do find yourself making a bad trade, or you're trading every single time you have a day trade, every time you have one, you have to go ahead and take it. Then take a step back, turn off everything, and step away for a week or two. Let your mind reset and get back into it. Same thing if you take a loss. Always have a weekly loss amount. Once you hit that, even if it's on the first trade, step away. Yes, you might be able to go ahead and make it back. In some cases, you will. But in most cases, if you're being honest with yourself, like I am with myself, I'm probably going to end up more in the hole. And then I don't want to look at my trading software for a few weeks. And you don't want to go ahead and get into that state of mental. It's never good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this first little intro on what I'm doing to go ahead and turn this into $100,000. I will be giving a weekly update on my trading so you can see the whole process of me getting there. With this account, I won't be adding anything into it, so numbers will not be skewed in any which way. If you have any questions about my strategy, and I'll be happy to answer them, or any of my videos, please leave a comment in the description and leave a like on the video. There'll be many more coming soon. Weekly and monthly recaps will be coming out on Saturday mornings.